I know you all heard of the United States dependency on foreign oil, and I know you want to escape those high-ass gas prices. This might just be your way. On another science weekend. Let's get started. I'm gonna need this a jar with some water. With this water has to have salt in it. I used at least 2.5 teaspoons of salt, or 3 if you're really interested in doing that. It has to have a lid. I drilled 3 holes in the lid, 2 for the contacts and 1 big one for the exhaust for the hydrogen to come out of. And you're gonna need a power supply. Now, now this is a 12 volt DC 200 milliamp class 2 transformer. And I cross connected the wires and put electrical glue on it to an 800, a 15 volt DC. I think it was 800 milliamp class 2 transformer. You always want to go up in milliamps and not lower in milliamps. I got a switch. This is not a heavy duty switch because we're not going to be dealing with that many amps that we're going to be destroying this switch. And I have some springs, some bed springs that I'm going to use as electrodes. Now, I already had 2 bed springs, but this one corroded and I can't use it no more. And I have a wire tie keeping them from touching. That's also important. And you're going to need basic tools, soldering iron, solder gun, basic stuff. So let's get started. First, you're going to want to, as I said, you're going to want to tie something to keep the electrodes from touching. Because if the electrodes are touching, you're not going to make any hydrogen. I can almost guarantee you. So I'm going to stick this in the spring, and that should keep the guys from touching each other. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my wire to my switch, and I'm going to wire that up. Get my solder iron over here. And I'm going to apply heat because it's already been tinned. So all I gotta do is just wire that up. And that's our first connection. And our second connection is a wire coming off of it, which will go to the other end of our switch. And let me remind you, this is a 6-way switch. So this switch will basically wire them side by side. If you have 3 connections, you wire them side by side by side by side. Basically, those are our first connections. Then we're gonna run these through the lid. Now the lid again has 3 holes in it. And it doesn't matter how big the holes are, but it has to be big enough so the wires can run through it. Damn. Okay, everything's cool here. Everything's cool. Just drop my lid. And I'm going to put that through the lid of our jar. As so. Now you want to pull it in a little bit, like a 1/2 inch out. And I'm going to take my hot glue gun, glue that to the lid, and make sure you get a good seal on that. Because if you don't get a good seal, gas is going to start escaping out the holes that you don't want. Can't have that. Or you could just get nuts and bolts, stainless nuts and bolts, just wrap them around here, and just drill them in, wrap them around with a nut, and just get some wire, and that'll be your electrical connection. But I'm lazy, and this is not going to last very long in my lab. So, alright. contact with the hot glue is dry, we're going to run our other wire through and do the same. Gonna make a contact there. And I'm gonna wait for that to cool. Damn. I hate when that crap happens. Oh my god. Looks like one of my solder connections came loose a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Really need to get my helping hands tool up here. This would have run a lot smoother. Hold on a sec. It's really starting to drive me nuts. So I'm gonna just fix that connection real quick. Add some solder. Bada bing, bada frickin' boom. Now we should stick. Fuck. Slipped. Alright. That should stay pretty nicely. Okay. Finally, we can move on to the next step. Or if I can find my springs I just knocked off the table, could be possible. Okay. What was I talking about? The next step? Okay, next step. So, these springs are going to hang in the water. Now, it's important to be submerged, but we don't want our wire to get wet because they can corrode. Can't have that. So I'm just gonna tie my. Basically, I'm gonna tie my connection. Wait. Gotta clear that up. Gotta clear that other contact up. I don't know what's wrong with these contacts. They develop a goo on them. And you're gonna wanna wrap the wire around the, or if you have some copper plates, they'll corrode, but they're good to use because you can solder the wire directly to them. And that's why I like nice and simple. So we're gonna see how far they hang in there. Alright, we got a nice depth in there. And we're just gonna close up our jar. And if you want to get a good seal, I would hot glue around it or do plastic dip around it. So it's time for our test. And we're just gonna hook up our power supply to our socket. Let me move this. Let me move this real quick. Let's see if we're getting any hydrogen. Alright, one of our contacts is making a little bit of hydrogen. Think it could do better. So I'm going to plug in my other power source. Now, thank God I've had this other power source because this pushes 800 milliamps through my system, which I am thankful for. So I'm going to move some of my plug-in stuff I have over. Hopefully I don't blow a fuse. I'll unplug mine. And I just plugged in my other power source. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some hydrogen. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I'm definitely pulling some hydrogen out of there. It's starting to bubble up on the coil, and it's starting to flow up to the top. Now, I think this setup can do way better. I really do. So I'm going to get go downstairs to get some salt real quick, and I'm just going to